this video is to show you how to update a blog. Your website was created using a WordPress format, so that makes it really nice so you can go in and edit your content and add blogs. And the way to do that is you go into your WordPress admin and log in. So I sent you a link with all of your passwords and login information. And basically, you just type in your login and password into to log into WordPress. Once you log in, you will be taken to the WordPress dashboard, and this dashboard has some really useful information about your website in general. You also could do a quick posting here, and then there's just general WordPress information. If you really get interested in WordPress, you can always dive in and start reading this information, but for the most part, I'm sure you're just going to bypass this. When you log into the admin, you can see along the left side is navigation, which allows you to do various functions in WordPress. The top one is called posts, and the post section is basically where you're going to go to add new blog postings. Once I click on the post section, you can see the recent blogs. Today you sent me an updated blog that you wanted to add. It's a really quick blog. I thought that would be a great way to start. So you go to add new. And the great thing about WordPress is it really does look very similar to Microsoft Word, where there's a lot of different editing options for your content, etc. When you first get here, the very first thing to do is, of course, fill out the title. And the title, of course, of this is going to be Brides to Be. I took basically the post that you sent me via email and I put it in Notepad because I find it is a lot easier to copy and paste text from Notepad. It's a lot cleaner, but you can always copy and paste it from emails or Word, whatever is easiest for you. So basically I'm going to call the title Brides to Be because that's what you wanted it to be. And then I'm going to add the main content into the content section, which is just below. So once you enter a title, you enter the content, you can see that the formatting, it pretty much does a little bit of formatting for itself just based on what you copy and pasted. But you have a lot of options like bolding, italicizing. You can change it. If there's like a subheader, you can change the headings. You can underline it. This also allows you to link to other sites, and I definitely recommend in this particular blog posting you're referencing the Wedding Expo. So I would definitely have a link within the content that's going to that website. So I'm basically going to come over here, copy and paste the link to the Wedding Expo, and I'm going to go up to links and add that as a link to this content. For SEO purposes, this is really friendly. Search engines love it. It's also user-friendly for people when you're commenting about a particular function, especially in the wedding industry, to link back to it. And then my other recommendation for blogs is also to always add imagery, like images. In this case, we're going to be adding a logo, so that's a great visual. I recommend every time you post to add just a little visual. People like visuals, and it makes the content more interesting. The other thing I'm going to do is, of course, insert the photo, the logo that you wanted. In this particular case, you have a couple options when you want to add images. You can select a file like from your desktop, such as in this case I kind of copied and pasted that logo in onto my desktop. So I'm going to insert that. Once you upload it, you can see the size of the image, when you uploaded it, the title of the image. You can always give it a description. This is the URL to the image that WordPress uploaded. And then you can change the sizing depending on how big you want it. And then this is also where you choose the alignment of the image, and you can always go back and change this. I'm just going to center it over the text because I feel like it's a big long logo, so there isn't really a left and right align for this particular logo. So that's really how you insert images. It's really easy. You can also insert images that have already been previously uploaded. You have a media library which has all of the images that will exist on your website. This is also the area where if you wanted to link to a particular file, like a PDF form of some sort, you can insert documents in that as well. So I'm happy with how it looks, the formatting of it. I'm looking at it in what they call visual view, so that kind of gives you an idea what it looks like in the front end. Like if you wanted to, you can also, like, maybe you want to bold this. There's all sorts of different options. You can change the color. I would suggest just really playing around, seeing what you like. Don't make it too gaudy. I think simple is best. Then over on the right hand side, these are all your publishing settings. So in this instance, we could, if you wanted to go back and work on it later, you could save the draft. You can also preview your posting in a browser, which kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like on the front end. When we go over here, this is where your blog postings currently exist. And the main blog page has all of your postings listed in order of when they were published. So the most recent, which is the Bridespeed, I just posted that earlier today, so that is first. When you click on the actual post, that actually brings you to the whole blog posting. So once you're ready to actually publish the page, you can actually push publish here, which is a button. I'm not going to push publish because this is just I've already added this particular blog to your blog posts. I just wanted to show you all the different formats and stuff I did as I was going through it. With the visibility, you're never going to change this because it's always going to be public unless for some reason you really want it to be a password protected or private blog, which I would not suggest. I would just suggest doing it all public. You can always go in and backdate a blog, like if you had older blog postings that you wanted to transition over here. You can always change dates, times. If you wanted to, let's say, post something in the future, you can also do that here as well. Below here is just an SEO check. You don't have to worry about that. If you wanted to delete this blog, you can, and then this is the publish button. Now the format's always going to be standard formatting, and below that is called categories, and think of categories as another way to navigate to your blog. In this particular, on your blog, I have already added a couple of categories such as makeup and wedding industry news. If there's any other categories that you feel are missing here, you can always add new categories, and the nice thing about that is that when you add them, they're in your posting section, so they'll always show up as an option here. You can also remove categories. There's an uncategorized section which we can always go in and move. Tags are basically, think of those as keywords for searching, search engines. Now, below that is a featured image. We don't really have any featured images. I'm going to go back to the original posting that I did earlier, so you can see all of the tags and everything that I did earlier. So I'm going to go to all posts, and in this main section, of course, it shows you, when you click on all posts, all of the postings that we've done. So the one I did earlier is just going to be just below. You can see the date and the status of it. This one we just entered in is not published because there's no reason for us to publish it, as I've already done it earlier. So I'm going to go in here, and you can see some of the tags I used earlier. So wedding, wedding expo, wedding makeup. If there's any other tags, you can always go in here and add it. That's the great thing about WordPress, is you can always go back to any kind of posting or any kind of page edits. You can change it and re-upload it and change it, and it'll change it on the site. So in the main section, of course, just below the main content is the WordPress SEO Yoast plugin that I put on your website, which is basically for search engines. And this is basically just showing you what the search results will look like when you do a search for this particular blog. And you can always change the keywords, you can change the title of the page and descriptions. But it'll automatically fill in that data a little bit, but if you wanted to make it a little more SEO friendly, you can. So once you publish your blog, and of course it'll show up on the front end.